Thank you, Mr. Olitz, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I bid you welcome to Wolfsburg, to the newly renovated brand headquarters of Volkswagen, and thank you very much for following our invitation at such short notice, the second time within just a few days. The Volkswagen brand is undergoing fundamental change. 5 days ago, the company and the Works Council agreed the Pact for the future, the Zukunftspact. It will make an important contribution, a decisive contribution towards making Volkswagen fit for the future and profitable both. It is part and parcel, an important module of our new corporate strategy, which we want to explain to you today. With Transform 2025 Plus, we've started the biggest process of change in the history of our brand. We want to make Volkswagen fit for the future, getting in the right position. We want to make Volkswagen profitable on a sustainable basis. And we do not just want to manage the change in our industry, but we want to shape it actively. Every successful strategy starts with analyzing the situation, taking stock. How are we prepared for the imminent change? One thing is certain, our industry will undergo more fundamental change over the next 10 years than ever before. Digital networking, connectedness will progress very quickly indeed. In 10 years, practically all new cars and a large share of the cars which are already on the roads will be online. Cars will be a central node of the internet, interconnecting things. Driving pleasure means quick data processing, intuitive operation, regular software updates, attractive apps and services. Electromobility in 4 or 5 years will make the breakthrough, driven by environmental standards, but also by technological progress. For most customers, the electric car will soon be the better alternative. Whether cars in 10 years will drive autonomously entirely will remain to be seen. In any event, it will take over more and more activities from the drivers on autobahns, on the motorways, or when parking. Car sharing will increase in importance, although many cars continue to be used for individualized traffic and will need to be in line with the personalities and the personal preferences of drivers. And it needs to be the right brand, and that will remain to be the case. It's not just Volkswagen that needs to get ready for a quick, hard change. This upheaval will concern all automotive manufacturers. Volkswagen starts from a particularly difficult situation into this phase of upheaval. The image of our brand has suffered from the diesel crisis. Many people no longer trust us as they used to. It is therefore our main task to win back this trust as quickly as possible. Beyond diesel, there is a number of potentials which we need to leverage and which we have to leverage. Our fixed costs have risen. Concomitantly, our productivity is not at eye level with the competitors in the volume segment yet. For years, a concept for success in the US has been lacking. In the economy markets such as Brazil and India, we're losing ground over our competitors. Sometimes we've simply not been on the bandwagon with new market trends like the SUV boom. The organization as a whole is still very hierarchical and sometimes even bureaucratic. And in the last analysis, our return on sales is much too low to be able to leverage it for future investments. We must not lose any further time here. We're quite aware that Volkswagen has to change fundamentally. Our brand needs a solid foundation for us to be able to leapfrog into the future. However, we also have our strengths, which we can build upon. Our brand has worldwide awareness, and there is a lot of brand loyalty worldwide. Despite the diesel crisis, we are ending 2016 with a sales plus. Hardly anyone would have believed that possible. We have strong products like the Golf, the Passat and the Tiguan, which are coveted worldwide. They're very attractive, and we are present worldwide, and we can scale up both the toolkits and the technology more than other car makers. In Europe and China, we are the market leader. In China, with the distance behind us, with 14 market share, we're dominating this market. Those ranked next have about half our market share. We have a highly committed, very highly skilled team, and last but not least, quality stands for quality orientation, which is quite unparalleled. We can and we will build upon these strengths when it comes to making Volkswagen fit for the future. We are faced with tremendous challenges. In addition to this, the exacting and more stringent emission standards increase the technical effort needed for the internal combustion engines. For diesel engines, we're expecting additional cost of more than 1,000 euros per vehicle. The worldwide carbon emission targets to be achieved require even more technical effort. Changing over into the new world of mobility requires new skills and major capex. Volkswagen needs to invest additional money, particularly in the economy markets, to regain lost ground. And compensating for the loss of trust after the crisis will occasion additional costs. We have to become competitive quickly again, otherwise our financial situation in the coming years will deteriorate further. We need to realign Volkswagen as a brand, and we are now grasping the nettle. We are starting this realignment now. We are aiming high with our ambitious strategy. We want to use the change to lead the automotive industry, the new automotive industry, with Volkswagen. The name Transform 2025 Plus already shows what is needed to this effect. Over the coming years, we will fundamentally change Volkswagen. Only a few things will remain in place, will remain how they are. The new strategy, at the end of the day, is one large transformation program. Naturally, we cannot do everything overnight. The strategic realignment is taking place in 3 phases, consequently. In the first phase, we will restructure Volkswagen, we will repair our core business. By 2020, we want to become the leading and profitable volume car maker. Concomitantly, we are already developing new skills for future topics such as electromobility and digitalization. For 2020, we're planning an operative return on sales of 4%. In the second phase, from 2020, we'll be starting our large electro campaign. With the idea we've already shown that we are thinking big when it comes to electric cars. As a volume car maker, we intend to make a major contribution towards making electric cars successful, creating a sea change. And in 2025, at the latest, we want to be the world market leader for electromobility. We make the electric car a strategic core element of the Volkswagen brand. Then we want to achieve an operating return on sales of 6%. This already signals this plus that we're thinking beyond 2025. Then there'll be new business models around mobility solutions, such as robo-taxis, which will run through our cities fully autonomously. We're preparing for this world now. Before that, we need to secure our milestones. For the individual phases, we have determined concrete measures. These are our roadmap for the next 10 years. I'd like to present the individual measures very briefly now. Every automotive strategy begins with a brand. What does the brand stand for? What does it epitomize? How is it positioned? And what customers are we targeting? Where Volkswagen achieves a strong brand position, we achieve the highest prices compared to all volume car makers. We achieve this due to our headway when it comes to innovation, quality, and intrinsic value of our products, the resale value. Volkswagen is strong in both Europe and China, where the strength of the brand is very close to the premium car makers. In many other world markets, particularly the US, but also in Latin America, we are operating with a weaker margin position. We intend to change this. Volkswagen is meant to become the most attractive volume brand in every region. Top of volume is our target, particularly in North and South America. We intend to improve our brand image to this effect. For this, we need products which are leaders and a benchmark in terms of innovation, quality, and resale value in that volume segment. More SUVs, an electro campaign for electric cars, innovation which is really relevant for customers, and prices which suit each market. We will adjust these areas and we will use that leverage over the next years. We will work with dedication to achieve that. The brand image is going to change in terms of content. It's meant to be accessible and more likable. Arrogance is a thing of the past. We want to get away from a world of pure technology and the product. We want to have a vision of the future which is more humane, the customer being in the focus of all our actions. The core values of the brand, high quality, reliability, and value retention, of course, will be maintained and will be driven forward further. This brand positioning sets the framework for all further measures for our products, our technologies, and our activities in the regions. We have radically redesigned our product strategy. The new strategic targets have become the focus and the resources are in the center of the product strategy. Now, product planning is geared to the three phases, starting with a major SUV campaign or cavalcade. In the next weeks, we'll have the Atlas for North America and the Terramont for China. We've already launched these. The next will be the long wheelbase version of the Tiguan for both markets. In the coming years, we shall expand our SUV portfolio both upward and downward. A total of 19 SUVs will be in the product portfolio by 2020, compared to only 2 models today. In Europe, we intend to raise the share of SUVs sold of our total volume from 13 to almost 30%. In the States, that proportion rises from 15 to more than 35%, and in China will raise that proportion from 15 to more than 30%. In the aggregate total will more than double the SUV share in our overall volume. In China, we are securing and bolstering our market position. In the US, we're driving our turnaround with the SUVs, and in Europe, compact SUVs will improve our margins. Concomitantly, we'll clearly reduce the complexity of our products. For successor models and new cars, the number of variants will be reduced by 30 to 60%. For platforms, we'll have 40% fewer variants, and for drives, we're talking 30 to 40% less. Last year, we already reduced 15,000 component variants from our program. One-off expenditure of 700 million euros have been saved for future technologies. Exceeding this, lower complexity enables us to achieve higher productivity in production and economies of scale in purchasing.
In terms of platforms, our focus going forward is going to be on the modular transverse toolkit, MQB for short. In technical terms, the MQB is an outstanding platform, and in fact it allows us to achieve global economies of scale. It's excellent as a platform in terms of lightweight design, safety and comfort, and it allows us to use it for a second vehicle generation with only very few modifications. Going forward, practically all conventional vehicles of the brand will be based on the MQB. In fact, the MQB is the backbone of the Volkswagen Group, with around 80% of all group vehicles being based on this platform. 11 old platforms are going to see the end of their useful lives. And at the same time, we're also going to streamline our engine lineup in terms of petrol and diesel units. The Evo generation has an additional potential of between 7 and 15% less CO2. New petrol units with a 84-volt mild hybrid are going to achieve the fuel economy of a diesel and thus compensate the declining diesel share in the fleet. As of the year 2020, we're going to start the first wave of our new electric car based on the MEB, the electrical toolkit. We're not going to target niche products, we're going to target the heart of the car market, the big volume segments. By 2025, we plan to sell 1 million electric cars per year, and by then we also want to be the global market leader in electromobility. Going forward, our electric cars will be the hallmark of Volkswagen. At the Paris Motor Show, we presented and unveiled our ID. It shows the long-term plans of the Volkswagen brand. Some journalists said, this car is Volkswagen's program for the future. Now this is true not just in technological terms, but also in terms of its design. With electric cars, we're going to introduce a completely new design language at Volkswagen. We're going to eliminate combustion engines, and that means there's more space for passengers and their luggage. The ID, for instance, externally is about as big as a Golf, but inside it's about as big as a Passat. And this will be true for all MEB-based vehicles. Right from the very beginning, our electric cars are going to make a contribution to our brand's profitability. With the MEB, we've developed a platform that will be used around the world. In fact, other group brands too are going to use this platform. China will become the global leading market for electromobility, and here we achieve economies of scales. In fact, we can see already an increase in the number of electric cars sold in China. We're going to use the advantages of this fully electric and connected platform to generate additional value for our customers. Ladies and gentlemen, electric drive systems are going to change the car, but even more so, the internet, the automotive cloud. This is going to make cars safer and more comfortable than today. This requires connectivity, always on, and a digital ecosystem in its own right. Another focal area of our strategy is therefore the establishment of a digital ecosystem for Volkswagen. Now, first of all, this requires a fully connected digital car that is always online. Our MEB-based vehicles are going to offer this, but the next Golf generation will also have it already. The digital platform of Volkswagen will be called We, and in fact we're already developing it. By 2025, we want to have around 80 million users for this platform. In 2025, we're going to offer services for connected cars, hoping that sales in this area will reach 1 billion euros. Services and apps will be provided by Volkswagen, but also by third parties. And of course, customers can also take their own digital worlds into the car. The establishment of an ecosystem is certainly one of the biggest tasks for the coming years. Direct customer contact in close coordination with dealers is a completely new challenge for any car maker. It requires a completely new way of thinking. It also means that we have to bring in expertise from outside. In our Pact for the Future, it was agreed that we're going to create more than 1,000 new jobs in software development. We know what our goal is. We want to build the Volkswagen for the new automotive era. Smart, electric, connected. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to make Volkswagen successful again, important elements are the regions, like Europe and China. We want to be successful there, but in fact, by 2020, we want to generate positive results in all the major markets. In North America, we want to write a comeback story. In North America, Volkswagen needs to develop from a niche provider to a relevant and profitable volume car maker. The United States are not just a very large, but also a very profitable car market. Nowhere else can you make more money by selling cars than in the United States. And this will probably still be true in the year 2025. For our direct competitors, the United States are a very strong source of income. And therefore, Volkswagen is going to step up its commitment to the US market. The focus will be on the local core segments, that is to say, large SUVs and sedans. We're going to improve our model lineup, and in fact the new Atlas resonated well with the press and the public. And in doing so, we are going to take our US customers seriously. We are going to specify our vehicles with their needs and minds, with the properties that they need in mind, for which they are prepared to spend money. In the second wave, we're going to launch our new electric cars in North America too. Over the next few years, we're going to make major investments in the electric infrastructure. Starting in 2021, we're going to see local production of our MEB-based cars. The motto is Electrify America. At the same time, we have to be very disciplined in terms of spending, and we have to make sure that we fully use the capacity of our US and North American plants by 2020. And I'm confident that as of 2020, we are going to be in the black again, and sustainably at that. The second region that we need to focus on is South America. For a long time, Volkswagen was an institution in this market. However, we have lost this reputation, among other things, because our model lineup is no longer up to date. Now, that's because we launched a major turnaround program in this market, and in fact, we are lowering our capacities and costs in Brazil and Argentina. At the same time, we're investing around 2.5 billion euros in new products. In South America, we'll have a localized version of the MQB. And this variant is going to make our brand even more attractive. It will offer attractive vehicles for the region. We expect that the total market is going to develop positively, and so by 2020 we expect to be back in the black in South America too. Ladies and gentlemen, a central element of our new strategy is the Pact for the Future. Both the strategy and the Pact for the Future are closely intertwined. In fact, they pursue identical targets. The Pact for the Future is going to restore the financial competitiveness of our brand. At the same time, it means that we're going to focus value creation on the projects for the future. By 2020, we're going to invest around 3.5 billion euros in the restructuring of our German locations. We're going to invest in the manufacturing of electric motors and battery systems, and we'll also have a pilot plant for battery cells. The Kassel, Salzgitter and Braunschweig factories will become key suppliers for electric cars. We're going to produce 2 MEB vehicles in Germany, and in fact the whole development team will be realigned with the new tasks in mind, and we're going to massive step up our software development capabilities. In fact, we're going to create around 9,000 new jobs in those projects for the future, and all German plants and locations will be given a long-term perspective, long-term prospects. That means that we are among the first who are really focusing on the future of the automotive industry. No other car maker is so courageous, so bold in terms of these challenges. So we are spearheading this change. On the other hand, the Pact for the Future is going to make our brand a lot more profitable. Starting in 2020, the Pact is going to improve our profitability by around 3.7 billion euros per year. Ladies and gentlemen, the other thing we need to do and want to do and will do is change the organization. It's got to be more powerful, and we have to make it ready for this new era. We have to change our mindset and our attitude. Volkswagen needs to become a lot faster and a lot more agile if we want to implement our plans successfully. And we're creating the necessary structures right now. Those responsible for the new model lines are going to take decisions themselves, which in the past were taken by the CEO. And in the regions, there will also be a higher level of responsibility for the local business. They will be closer to the market and closer to our customers. Ladies and gentlemen, that summarizes the key areas of focus of our strategy. So this is a specific program, but at the same time we developed a new mission statement. It epitomizes the importance of the Volkswagen brand. Our vision is moving people forward. We don't want to move people merely from A to B. We also want to move them, touch them emotionally with our ideas, with our innovations, with our commitment and passion. We want to be a reliable partner in their lives. And last but not least, we also want to promote the society by offering advanced solutions for the mobility of tomorrow. And to achieve that, we have 4 major targets in mind. We want to have enthusiastic customers. We want to launch sustainable mobility. We want to be a strong team that moves and touches people. And we want to be profitable in the long term. There are specific KPIs behind all those targets, including ambitious, detailed targets, and they define what we want to achieve as a brand between now and the year 2025. Whether we'll have excited customers can be measured. For instance, we measure how many customers recommend us to their friends and family. We want to improve this KPI by 50%, and we hope that by 2025 our digital platform will have 80 million users. A team that moves and touches people specifically means that our team is to become more international, more diverse, with a greater share of women. And again, we are going to measure that based on certain KPIs. Talking about sustainable mobility, here our target is to sell 1 million electric cars per year. We want to be the first to achieve this figure. At the same time, we want to reduce our CO2 fleet emissions by another 25%, with today as the baseline. And when it comes to the decisive question of profitability, our target for 2025 is operating return on sales of 6%. There's an intermediate target for 2020, which is a 4% operating return on sales. This, coupled with disciplined investments, will generate a positive net cash flow, and the return on investment is to be 15%. When we achieve those targets, our brand will be a solid anchor again, and the group needs it. Ladies and gentlemen, the implementation of our strategy will have 8 brand initiatives, with each initiative being headed by a team of the executive board. The first initiative is to make sure that we are top of volume. Mr. Stackmann and Mr. Welsch are going to work on the required portfolio of attractive and emotional products, services, and other capabilities. Brand Initiative number 2 is going to make us competitive in the volume segment. We're going to increase our productivity and efficiency. Mr. Ulbrich, Mr. Antlitz, and Mr. Schmal are going to take care of this initiative. Initiative number 3 will make us the global leader in electromobility. Mr. Welch and Mr. Brandstetter are going to work on the technical implementation and the related cost positions. Initiative number 4 is going to focus on the establishment of a superior digital ecosystem that allows us to establish direct contact with our customers. Mr. Stackmann and Mr. Blessing are going to be responsible for this initiative. Initiative number 5 is going to strengthen our brand leadership and market leadership in Europe and will also secure it in China. And that's a job for Mr. Stackmann and Mr. Ulbricht. Initiative number 6 is going to make us successful in North America. Mr. Antlitz and I myself are going to take care of that. Initiative number 7 will make sure that we are successful in the economy markets, in particular the BRIC markets. Mr. Welch and Mr. Brandstetter are going to focus on the necessary products, brands and cost structures, and initiative number 8 has the target of an agile organization of integrity, and Mr. Blessing and Mr. Antlitz are going to take care of that. Ladies and gentlemen, in this process, the whole executive board wants to create a new Volkswagen, a Volkswagen that is bold and powerful, a Volkswagen that is going to set standards in the automotive world. Transform 2025 Plus is a very demanding, but I think it's at the same time a very clear plan, and I'm sure that we'll make it. Thank you. So, with that, my colleagues on the board and I are happy to take your questions. Thank you.